Let me be honest with you. Most AI projects people build after following tutorials or courses are completely useless if your goal is to get hired in 2026. ChatGPT clones, basic chatbots, fake AI apps with no real-world value. Recruiters have seen them 1,000 times and they skip right past them. And that's exactly why people who spend months building these projects still don't get interviews. Hi friends, I'm Maddie. I'm a senior software engineer who previously worked at Google and interned at other big tech companies like Amazon, IBM, and Microsoft. And one thing I learned from being on both sides of the hiring table is that recruiters don't just want someone who's used AI tools. They want someone who understands how to build with those tools at a systems level. So in this video, I'm giving you 6 AI projects to build in 2026, each one tied directly to what engineering teams are actually hiring for right now and what's actually moving in the industry in 2026. Agentic systems, MCP, context engineering, and fine-tuning. Let's get into it. We're going to start with what I consider the most underrated project on this list, a MCP server. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. Anthropic released it in late 2024, and it quickly became the standard interface for connecting AI models to external tools and data sources. Think of it like a USB-C port for AI, a universal way for agents to plug into your calendar, your database, your internal APIs, and so on and so forth. Most developers are still on the consuming end, and they're using MCP servers that already exist. Very few people are really building them. When you build one, you're showing that you understand the infrastructure layer underneath all these AI products. So what should you build? For example, you could write an MCP server that exposes a personal task management system, or expose a local SQLite database so an AI agent can query it in natural language, or build one that wraps a public API. Think a flight search, weather data, your university's course catalog, and lets an LLM call it with structured inputs. The tech stack is straightforward. You can use Python or TypeScript, the MCP SDK from Anthropic, it's open source, and a tool like Claude Desktop or Cursor to test it locally. Now, for the second project, let me give you a concrete scenario. Let's say you're building a tool for a healthcare startup. Doctors upload patient notes, the AI extracts structured clinical data. Immediately, we have a problem. You cannot send that data to OpenAI or Anthropic. HIPAA makes this a non-starter. Your only options are a cloud provider with a business associate agreement or running the model yourself. This is a real constraint that entire industries are organized around, and knowing how to build for it could genuinely make you useful. So that's the project. Build an AI-powered application where running offline is not just a nice to have, but the core design constraint. For example, you can pick a domain where the privacy argument is real. Legal document review, personal health journaling, financial analysis for a client who won't let their data leave their network, a code review tool for a team working on proprietary software. For the model, I say that Gemma from Google is the best starting point right now. It was designed explicitly for on-device and local deployment. It runs smoothly on a MacBook with Apple Silicon at the 4 billion and 12 billion parameter sizes, and the instruction to inversions handle structured tasks well. Llama 3 and Qwen 3 are also solid options depending on what you're building. The tool that ties everything together is Ollama. It downloads models, handles quantization automatically, and exposes a local API endpoint that's compatible with the OpenAI SDK. Some questions and decisions to consider include: what quantization level gives you the right balance of speed and quality for your task? How do you handle context that exceeds the model's window, which with local models is often shorter than cloud models? How do you make streaming feel snappy so the UI doesn't feel broken? Now let's talk about Project 3, a RAG system with telemetry and evals. Here is a scenario that plays out constantly on real engineering teams. Someone builds an app, it looks great in the demo, but then falls apart in production with wrong answers, hallucinated citations, retrieving completely irrelevant chunks. And when something breaks, there's no way to tell what specific part broke. This taps into evaluation-driven development, the industry's response to realizing that vibes-based AI development does not scale. The whole ecosystem of eval tooling exists because companies kept shipping AI features that looked fine in demos and fell apart in production. RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation, is how you ground a language model in your own data. The basic version is easy to build. You chunk documents, embed them, store them in a vector database, and retrieve the most similar chunks at query time. The problem here is that most similar in embedding space does not always mean most useful for answering the question. So to bridge that disconnect, here's what you should build. Start by instrumenting your retrieval. Log every query, the chunks that came back, their similarity scores, and whether the final answer actually used them. You'll find that certain question types consistently retrieve garbage, or that your chunking strategy is cutting documents at the wrong places. Then build your eval harness around those failure modes. Create 50 to 100 ground truth question answer pairs that specifically probe the weak spots you found. Write a harness that runs every question through your pipeline and scores outputs automatically. Use LM as judge for open-ended answers and exact match for factual ones. Tools like RAGAS, Deep Eval, or Brain Trust all work well here. Building this eval harness is basically making an AI regression test framework. For your tech stack, you can use Llama Index or LangChain, any vector store, a BM25 library for hybrid retrieval, a cross-encoder re-ranker, and RAGAS or Brain Trust for scoring. Now let's talk about the fourth project, a multi-agent system. When most people try doing this, they might wire up 2 or 3 agents, run a few examples, and see amazing outputs. But then they try a harder task and the whole thing collapses. One agent produces a bad output, the next one inherits it and makes it worse, and by the end, you have a beautifully orchestrated chain of compounding errors. So the project is not just to build a multi-agent system, but to design it specifically to be robust. Before diving into the how, let's talk about why we should build multi-agent systems. IBM, Microsoft, and Google are all talking about super agents and agent-controlled planes. Gartner projected that 40% of enterprise applications would be using task-specific agents by this year. That's a lot of engineering work that needs to happen, and a lot of engineers who need to understand orchestration, failure recovery, and agent coordination. An example use case could be to create a competitive research tool. You give it a company name, it researches the company, its competitors, market positioning, and produces a structured briefing. For this use case, your architecture needs 3 agents. A planner that receives the request and breaks it into specific research subtasks. A researcher that executes each task using web search and URL fetching. And a synthesizer that takes the collected notes and writes the final report. The planner also needs to validate what it gets back. For example, if the researcher returns something clearly off topic or empty, the planner should retry with a revised query, not just pass garbage downstream. For orchestration, I recommend LangGraph. It gives you explicit control over agent transitions and makes the state machine visible, which is exactly what you want. Make sure you log every agent's inputs, outputs, and tool calls. Now for project 5, you can build a voice AI study coach. You talk to it out loud, it quizzes you on a topic, listens to your answer, and responds with feedback, correcting mistakes, asking follow-up questions, adjusting difficulty based on how you're doing. You can load it with any content. For example, a set of lecture notes, a textbook chapter, a technical topic you're trying to learn. The whole session is voice in, voice out with no typing. Real-time voice AI is one of the fastest moving areas in the AI field. OpenAI shipped a dedicated real-time voice API in 2024. Cartesia and 11 Labs both released low-latency TTS models that made sub-2-second round trips actually achievable. Voice-first AI products are a new product category that barely existed 2 years ago, and companies are actively hiring engineers who know how to build them. For tech stack, you can use speech-to-text via Whisper to handle transcription. You'll stream audio in chunks rather than waiting for silence to send a full recording, which dramatically reduces perceived latency. That transcription goes to an LLM that maintains session state. So for example, what topics you've covered, what you got right, and where you're struggling. The model generates a response which goes to a low-latency TTS engine. So as I mentioned previously, Cartesia is a good option for near instant playback. And the LLM system prompt needs to specify spaced repetition logic, revisit topics you got wrong, and escalate difficulty gradually. That is what will make this truly useful rather than just a voice wrapper on a chatbot. And last but not least, you can fine-tune a model if your use case requires it. Before I tell you how to fine-tune, let's talk about when it actually makes sense. Fine-tuning is only worth the complexity when you have a very specific output format the model consistently gets wrong no matter how you prompt it. Or when you're doing inference at a scale where a smaller fine-tuned model is dramatically cheaper than calling GPT-4o for every request. Or when you have genuine proprietary data that gives the model knowledge it couldn't possibly have from pre-training. In 2026, the model ecosystem has split into 2 tiers. On one hand, massive frontier models offer complex reasoning. On the other hand, small, efficient models like Llama, Qwen, or Gemma are optimized for specific tasks and cost-sensitive deployment. Fine-tuning is the bridge between these 2 worlds. With LoRa and QLoRa, you can adapt a 7 billion parameter model to your exact task for a few dollars. If fine-tuning is actually the right call, here's how to do it properly. Pick a focused, constrained task. Then curate your dataset ruthlessly. 100 high-quality examples will beat 1,000 mediocre ones every time. Clean it, remove duplicates, and spot check for errors. Keep in mind that bad training data is the most common reasoning fine-tuning might make things worse. In terms of stack, you can use LoRa with a framework like Unsloth. Run this on a cloud GPU instance rather than fighting with local hardware, and make sure you're defining your eval metrics before you start training, not after. And finally, compare your fine-tuned model against the base model and against a frontier model like Claude on your test set. If your fine-tuning doesn't beat both on your specific task, then the project isn't complete. So in conclusion, here are the 6 AI projects I'd recommend: an MCP server, an offline LLM app, a RAG pipeline with an eval harness, a robust multi-agent system, a voice AI study coach, and a fine-tuned model. Of course, I'm not recommending you build every single one of these, but pick the one or ones that seem the most interesting to you and give them a shot. And that's all I have for you in this video. If this was helpful, please hit that like button, hype this video, and subscribe for more tech, AI, and career videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.